looking for joy. Again, the kind of joy that I'm talking about is different than what the world thinks about joy. Joy is not the same thing as feeling good, feeling happy, right? Now, you can actually cultivate happiness. I've actually done a few podcasts on how to do just that, how to cultivate happiness or gladness. And one of the things I talk about is that despite what you see in the movies or read in romance novels or in fairy tales, one of the things I talk about is that happiness doesn't magically happen to you. It doesn't just magically appear out of nowhere. But it is something you can cultivate. Now, most of us believe that happiness is the result of having lots of money or, being beautiful by the world standards or being blissfully thin or being free from the very real dangers of being stressed out. But the reality is that most of the folks who are financially well off or beautiful, again, by the world standards, and even those folks who feel stressed out and have found a way to bring less stress into their life, right? They're not happier on average than those who don't enjoy financial riches or beauty or lower levels of stress. So happiness you can cultivate, but joy, true joy, is different. You don't have to cultivate joy. You don't have to find joy. You do not have to go out looking for joy. Why? Because you already have it. You already have it. The Holy Spirit has already given it to you. Joy begins within. Joy belongs to you because it already lives inside of you. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm singing, "Oh, happy day." Now, let's take a look at what I call the 3 assurances of joy. The 3 assurances of joy. I mentioned them a bit earlier in this podcast, but here they are again, okay? Are you ready? Get your pen and your notepad ready so you can take some notes. Here they are, the 3 assurances of joy. The first assurance is contentment. Contentment. Okay? The second assurance is confidence. And the third assurance is hope. So let's talk about contentment. Did you know that it's impossible to be content without a deep and abiding sense of gratitude? Now, gratitude begins when you value and appreciate yourself. When you begin there, it is easier. It is a much shorter walk to valuing and appreciating others. So, start with yourself. Start with appreciating who you are and whose you are. Now, I want you to repeat after me. Even if you're outside, people, might think you're crazy. But just repeat after me. Say these 2 words. Say, I am. Okay? Now say it again. Say, I am. We are all made in the image of the great I am. So how can we not appreciate who we are? I mean, really. When we don't or can't appreciate ourselves, that's what's like, slapping God in the face. So remember whose you are to remember who you are, a child of the Most High, a child created in the image of the Creator. Be sure to tell folks in your life just how much you appreciate them. So don't simply appreciate them for what they do for you. Let them know how much you appreciate their presence in your life. Let them know how delighted you are that they are part of your life. Now, if you missed my show on gratitude, and I've done several of these as well, be sure to listen to it because there's much, much, much more to say about gratitude. Okay? It's all about recognizing and acknowledging the power of blessings. Blessings received, blessings that are present right here and now, and all of the blessings that we will receive in the future. Gratitude is also about your sense of wonder, awe, and deep appreciation reverence, and thankfulness for life in all of its forms. Psalm 47:1 says, "Come, everyone, clap your hands, shout to God with joyful praise." Right? So having an attitude of gratitude is not just about, thinking about gratitude, but actually expressing it. Clap your hands, shout to God with joyful praise. It's so easy to go through life without recognizing and acknowledging our blessings. I mean, let's face it, for some of us, we have to have something serious happen in our life, a bad accident, a rotten relationship, or a serious illness, or some other traumatic event to wake us up so that we can really appreciate all the great people, the great moments, the great things in our lives. Here's my advice. Don't wait. Do not wait for something awful, something tragic, something traumatic to happen to you. Wake up now, today, and make gratitude a practice in your life. Not just having the attitude, thinking about it, but really having the kind of attitude that's a posture of gratitude, making gratitude a practice in your life. And begin today. Make your commitment. Each day notice at least one person or one moment or one thing that has blessed you in your life. And if you find yourself being ungrateful or thinking about something negative or thinking about someone or something in a negative way, or if you find yourself wanting something that your friend has or your neighbors have, something that you don't have, instead of wanting or craving or desiring or yearning for what someone else has that you don't, try this instead. Just be grateful. Be grateful for who you are, for the friends and family you have, for the people who love and support you. Try instead just to be grateful for this moment. For this moment. Be grateful for who you are, whose you are, and all of the people, and blessings that you have in your life. Now, sometimes we find ourselves thinking bad or negative thoughts about someone or someone else, right? Sometimes we even think it about ourselves. If that's you, instead of that negative voice or thought, substitute a grateful voice or thought for your negative one. Maybe your brother or your sister forgot your birthday. Oh, well. Instead of having a pity party, instead of saying to yourself, my brother forgot to call me on my birthday, my sister forgot all about me, hey, substitute this thought instead. My brother has always been there for me. In fact, he's had my back through thick and thin, through good times and bad times. Or my sister has always been there for me, right? Lifting me up, encouraging me, praying for me. I know she's here for me today. Maybe she forgot my birthday. Who cares? I know she loves me. I know she supports me, and she only has goodwill, good intentions in her heart for me. And before you go to bed, before you go to sleep each night, let gratitude be your last thought. And when you wake up each morning, let gratitude be your very first thought, right? Give it a try. You will be surprised and grateful about how gratitude can change your life. So remember, the first assurance of joy is contentment. And gratitude is a powerful way, a marvelous way to express our contentment. The second assurance of joy is confidence. I love that word, confidence. It means so many things, but above all else, it means fidelity. Okay? The fidence part of confidence comes from the word fidelity, which means faithfulness. Now, when I think about confidence, one of the people that flows through my mind is a person by the name of DeWitt Jones. He's one of the people I think about when I think about confidence, when I think about fidelity or faithfulness. Now, my friend DeWitt is an amazing photographer. He's actually a world-class photographer. And to get things right, I mean really right, the best photographers, the best artists have to be supremely confident. And they have to see things just a little bit differently than the way the rest of us perceive and see things. And they have to capture what they see with a fidelity, with a faithfulness, so that when we gaze upon their work, or listen to it, right, or experience it in some way, we actually see or experience what the photographer sees and experiences, and then some. Now, for many, many years, DeWitt has devoted his life and work to seeing and to being faithful to his calling, which is all about celebrating, that's right, celebrating what's right with the world. I just love that. Because what's good, what's really good and really right with the world far outweighs what's negative. So our perspective makes a difference. When we celebrate what's right, when we are faithful and see as the master creator, as the master artist sees, we actually move through the world and we see the world and interact with the world with a blessed assurance of confidence. The third assurance of joy is hope, the assurance of hope. Did you know that one of the best gifts we can give to others is the gift of hope? They say for a parent or a leader in an organization or community steward, they say that we give to others the oxygen of hope. We give this oxygen to our children, to our teammates at work, to people in our cities and towns, to our neighbors, right? We breathe out attention. We breathe out vision. We breathe out encouragement. That's what I mean by giving and breathing out the life-giving, life-affirming oxygen of hope. Now, we can give this hope in many, many ways. I just mentioned a few of them. Here are several more. These days, listening can be a huge gift. In his lovely little gem of a book called A Father's Book of Listening, Dr. Mark Brady focuses on a father and son relationship. But you know what? His pearls of wisdom and experience apply to any relationship. Brady says, when we listen to our kids, often what we listen for are the things we understand or the things we agree with, right? I mean, we find comfort in discovering the ways that they are like us. Go figure. He goes on to say that when our kids say things or act differently than us, it makes us uncomfortable. When they turn out to be very different from us, it can make us extremely uncomfortable. And we don't necessarily like to see or hear about differences. Dr. Brady says a listening father deliberately seeks out and pays attention to the way our kids are different from us. We begin to appreciate the ways they have been shaped, molded, and often distorted by culture, schooling, family of origin, genetic makeup, and any number of unknown factors. Like snowflakes, no two children out of billions and billions are ever exactly alike. After we've learned to listen to differences and to develop an appreciation for them in our kids, we can cherish and celebrate their special uniqueness. With this perspective, we can deeply appreciate the power and beauty in complexity and diversity. And you know what? The same thing that Dr. Brady says about relationships with another person, the very same thing applies to us in terms of how we relate to ourselves. In fact, learning how to appreciate the power and beauty of complexity and diversity in ourselves is a cause for deep joy and rejoicing.